Welcome to the 2025 Economic Depression and Preparation channel. Thank you for joining me on this brief Tuesday, April 29th, 2025 edition here. Please be sure to hit that like button and subscribe button on the way in. We're just going to be briefly talking about the Dow Jones as well as the trade war heating up, and the risk of global recession continues to heat up as well. There's a lot of good news. The good news is we're still humming along in terms of the jobs report. Unemployment has not spiked above 5% yet. And the tariffs impact has not been felt as strongly as many believe so far. So there's some good news on the horizon. And the first 100 days of President Trump's term report cards are coming out by various media agencies, from Fox Business to MSNBC, CNBC, CNN, etc. So we'll see about that later on. But the best news is that the stock markets were all in the green today as the tariff impacts were lessened today, according to some reports. But the futures are down. But the stock market today, the Dow Jones was up over 300 points. S&P 500 extended their longest win streak of 2025. NASDAQ climb higher as well after the tariff, quote, relief. So that's what the U.S. stocks have done today, according to reports. And, of course, there was the whole Amazon debacle, whether or not they were going to list the prices of tariffs. Amazon denied the plans, and the stock closed just below flatline, according to Yahoo Finance. So the risk of global recession surges on U.S. tariff shockwaves. It still is a risk, 50-50 chance of a recession. Global growth forecast across the world was cut to 2.7, down from 3% earlier this year. And so there's still a lot of economic uncertainty. And this is because there's a lot of global debt. There's a lot of housing crisis, a lot of jobs crisis for young people between 18 and 35 years old, either in transition or having taken longer to find a new job out in the market, depending on what's going on. And so with all of this 10% blanket tax or tariff that President Trump has just put on these countries is going to take a toll, because we're still in a globalism economy. We're not in the individual country economy just yet, a protectionism economy. And so it's going to be some growing pains here, as you can see, unfortunately. And so the stock market is reacting to that. And Trump's trade wars could turn the GDP negative. This is from MarketWatch.com. This is an article in the first quarter. First quarter is going to be ending a couple of weeks here. We're going to be in the second quarter here as we get into May and the Memorial Day holiday later on in the month of May. But in the meantime, imports surge to record levels on tariffs front running here. Americans are trying to figure out what is happening with the U.S. economy amid raging trade wars here. This is nothing new. You're going to continue to see retail stores close down because they just don't have, we've overbuilt but under-manufactured the U.S. and most of the Western countries are. And so now it's a reversal. So a lot of these retail stores, we're going to see a lot of consolidation in the retail and the tech. And all of these things are going to be happening here shortly here in the next couple of, say, 3 months to the next year and a half. That's what we're going to be seeing. So another thing that was interesting too is with the car plants. You see Mazda plant shut down a lot of its plants, Mazda car company in the U.S. because something happened. And so that's going to be very interesting to see what happened with a lot of the car plants here. Waymo and Toyota, they strike partnership to bring self-driving tech to personal vehicles. I'm not sure how I feel about self-driving cars. Let me know in the comments. Would you trust a self-driving car other than a Tesla or something like that? But now that's going to seem to be the future here now, as we continue to see that as well. So as we get into as we end April and get into May, two things to look out for is, will we see the unemployment numbers go up with all of the changes to the federal government, not just the federal government, but also trickle down into the state government, the city, county, townships? Will we also see more cuts slowly? I know UPS began cutting workers in Atlanta, big plants. UPS cut a lot of workers there. Some other things are going on in other cities. Let me know what's going on in your town or city as far as job cuts that we're seeing across the board, and our salary hiring freezes. That's another thing to watch out for as we head into the second quarter of 2025. In the month of June and July, look for that to happen. Either salary cap or hiring freezes, or just straight up cutting in a lot of the private sector as well. And independent small businesses consolidating, closing stores, or either merging or just shutting down altogether. So this is going to happen as a result of not just the tariffs and all of that, but it's going to happen as a result of the money flow. Liquidity is drying up in terms of business credit. Remember now, we haven't got a stimulus check in the last, 2 or 3 years. We're not going to get a stimulus check. The Federal Reserve Bank already said that they'll be more likely to raise rates than lower rates. And as I told you, if there was a rate cut coming from the Federal Reserve Bank, that's not going to be here until September, October at the earliest. And that's only going to be 25 basis points here for this markets. So we'll see what happens with the markets on Main Street, Wall Street. Let me know in the comments what you think is going on in your neighborhood. Continue to prep, continue to prepare. Skills are intangible at this point, not just supplies and all that, but know-how skills are intangible, things like that. It's very valuable, and also, everything else is valuable too as well. So I'll get back more with you guys later on Thursday, ladies and gentlemen. Thursday and Friday, when we get those job report numbers at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, I believe, and we'll be able to see there. God bless. Take care.